Don't you throw a short joke at me.
Might go over your head.
It will go over his head.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, guess who followed me on Twitter?
Scott?
Mickey Mouse.
Close, John. A common squirrel.
Oh, no.
Who's Common Squirrel?
It says things like blink, 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 stare, sleep, run, 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 run.
I got a condom commercial
Oh, my.
for my Twitch ad.
I got the all-new Rogue Cut X-Men video.
Hey everybody, we're gonna talk about WoW. Buy condoms.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I've got a big red mark on my head from where I was leaning against the microphone. Probably be there all show.
Oh, you do?
I think it's a good thing I got ad block on mine, so it blocks the Twitch ads.
Oh, but you never know what it's going
I
to be.
heard you guys liked video games and social interaction. Have some condoms.
What kind of social
Use them as
interactions
water
you
balloons. Anyway.
They're super thin, but trust us, they'll do the trick.
mean? Oh, my.
Wonder if Ro realizes he signed in as Realm Podcast instead of Ro.
That's fine. All of Realm Podcast can watch us.
Yes.
That's right.
All of them. Hey, Spaz.
Hello,
It's
Spaz.
Wesson.
Spaz Wesson sounds like a cool Star Wars character.
It really does. I bet he's
We
in the
have
next...
to get these plans to Spaz Wesson.
Manny both ends died.
Manny, no!
You know what? I gotta say something about the marketing for The Force Awakens. I love the fact that I'm assuming it's J.J. Abrams who's made the decision on this, because I figure he's, you know, the head of Star Wars for this movie. I like that all of it is Star Wars and then The Force Awakens, as opposed to a giant Episode 7!
Right. I do like that. It was weird when everybody called it Episode 1.
It's like everyone still calls it Episode 1 and 2 and 3. They don't call it anything else.
That's because the three movies that are Episode 1, 2, and 3 didn't earn their titles.
They also
They're
had
not-
really bad titles.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, because, you know, come on. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
You know what you're getting.
Boom! I can't even tell you, honestly, what Episode 1, 2, and 3 are called. It's
Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is alright.
That's the closest to actually describing what happens in the movie. Attack of the Clones, that's like the last 10 minutes. And
Right.
Phantom Menace, who the hell knows?
Yeah, Attack of the Clones is kind of a great big spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I hate spoilers.
I hate them. They make me so angry I want to buy condoms from a video game stream.
Really bad.
I love Rose like comment in the chat room. It's just, wow, condoms. But then I think, oh, they're at the Blizzard store. Wow, condoms. Okay.
Wow, condoms. All right.
Do you want a condom with a Murloc on it? Well, you're in luck.
Now available at Etsy.no.
Oh, did you guys see the Minion maxi pads that are available?
No. Really?
I saw it on
That's just
Twitter.
wrong.
Guys, I hate the Minions.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love them and think they're great, and they're the bee's knees or whatever they are. I don't know. Whatever slang you kids use these days. And you're like the weird adoration of the Minions, which I thought were great in Despicable Me. Like, I won't lie. I thought they were great in Despicable Me. And then when they said they were going to do a Despicable Me 2, I said, hey, I bet they double down on the Minions and make them awful and terrible. And they did. And then they gave them their own movie because nobody knows how to let a little background side joke just be. It's got to be the main thing now.
Yeah.
But it also made $1 billion, so you know what? Joke's on
What
me.
are you gonna
Turns
do?
out everybody is stupid.
Or you're just not the market. Confirmed.
I'm
John
definitely
hates
not.
fun.
Yeah, I do hate fun.
Yay,
If
we
minions
both
are
do.
fun, I don't want to be any part of fun. I will
There you
go to my curmudgeon corner where there are sensible, good things.
Well, the funny thing is that, okay, so you've seen a lot of the shirts that I have, and they're like kind of mashups of things and stuff. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, and I like this and I like that. And I don't mind when worlds mix, because sometimes, you know, you get a really good idea. Well, the t-shirt sites almost seem to always have minions mashed with something else. And it never makes sense, and it doesn't seem funny most of the time. Just like, oh, look, there's a minion dressed as Han Solo. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Look, if
But
kids want to like, if kids want to like the minions, that's fine.
Yeah.
It is exactly the kind of entertainment that's expected for kids. The problem I have is when adults try and sell me on it being an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because
No, it's not. I will say this, going back to Force Awakens. If every movie company could please replicate what Lucasfilm / Disney / whatever did for their panels, they'd win San Diego Comic-Con. Because being able to watch all those interviews and see the trailer and all that, just everything else, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm you know, this is what I wanted. This is what I want at a San Diego Comic-Con. And everything else was like, let me see if some guy with a potato quality camera recorded it through some muffled sound under his jacket. You know?
Speaking of muffled sound, you're getting a little robot-y.
Yeah, you're getting fuzzy.
All right, hang on.
We're gonna call you Fuzzy Tetsemi all show.
Fuzzemi.
And then everybody will be like, "Oh, that was the best part of the show," and then it'll be the only thing we can ever do every episode forever and ever because it was funny once, so it must be funny forever.
Yeah, so you got to drive it into the ground.
Yeah, and Chief Fulgen in the chat says what we need is a Pepe movie. No, we don't. That's exactly the problem. Like, it's really
Leave
funny
Pepe alone.
as what it is. Dressing him up is exactly like the kind of cool, dumb feature you add to him. If they add a new expansion where you go to the realm of Pepes, and it's just Pepes for days, like, well, then they have overplayed it.
Okay, would you like that or a cow level?
A cow level, because it's been long enough.
Okay.
It would feel more original.
All right, how does that sound?
Still a little rough, but not as bad.
Yeah.
All right, let me restart Skype.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do the Skype thing and be right back.
We may just need to go audio only for you. Maybe that would help.
Yeah.
Could be.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens when you come back. Also, yes, I can confirm there is a realm of Pepes.
Pepe.
Pepes.
Pepe.
Like, I like Pepe. I like... I thought,
really?
like I said, I thought the minions were a really entertaining part of that movie, but sometimes you've got to let a thing be.
I forget who said it on Twitter. No, you know what? I'm not going to say it again because I got very mixed messages when I said it the first time.
What'd you say?
I believe it's just to Sarah and Tennille, so...
What'd you say?
Nobody's
listening.
Nobody's listening? Okay.
Nobody's listening.
Now, I found this absolutely hilarious. I saw it on Twitter. I don't remember from who. I want to say it was maybe Blair Herder, possibly, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that's going to happen, John. Deal with it. He said something along the lines of, "It really kind of saddens me knowing that at some point in history, the minions worked for Hitler."
Oh. Yeah, because the whole thing is they work for villains.
Yeah. And they look for the biggest, strongest villain that there is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'll keep playing with it. I'll keep playing with it while I'm on all the windows.
Too late.
So, anyway. It's like, so... I listened to an interview, and I'm sure you heard the same interview, because I think it was on, like, Giant Bomb, where they talked about... they interviewed the people who wrote the story for Portal 2. And they were like, number one thing when they came into the writer's room, we're not telling a single cake joke. Because the internet has taken care of running that into the ground for us.
Yes.
Like, to come in and be like, I guess the cake wasn't a lie after all, huh? Like, you can't do that. You have to, sometimes you have to just let the thing that you made be and move on. And I think Portal 2 was stronger for it. Instead, it came up with a whole bunch of new jokes that people get to run into the ground.
Exactly. Wait, what?
Space? What?
I'm in space.
I'm in space. See?
I'm in space.
Watch us do it. Space. So, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Minions are awful, but it's fine.
Well, we'll say this again. Some people like the minions, and that's fine for them. I don't. Yeah.
It doesn't help that I work in an office where the other people in the office really like the minions, so my desk and office are surrounded by minion toys. That probably
makes sense.
doesn't help my feelings towards the minions at all. Could be a part of it.
If I could guess, I would say not.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if I should say this or not because I mean, well, hell, it's you. You're not going to feel bad, but for Halloween last year, my mom dressed up as a minion.
Why?
Say again?
There, how's that?
Yeah, you sound great.
Better.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave the video off then, just to be safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put my Skype picture if you want there, or
Let's find an
Yeah, I'll find
animated
something.
GIF of a minion and put it in there.
No,
Oh, God, no.
not a minion.
Right
No.
after I'm like, minions are the absolute worst. We need to not ever do anything with minions ever. And Ben, we should totally animate a GIF. of
I'll find
minions
something.
for Tetsemi.
Do a Murloc minion and put it on a shirt.
I'm getting there. Hold on. I got this.
Or
That's
you
fine.
could do the things that the minions are a blatant ripoff of and put up a rabid.
Oh, I could, couldn't I?
Alright, where the heck? There are my notes. And those notes. Alright, we got notes. That'll work.
Also, if anybody is upset by my stance on minions, I apologize. I've had no sleep, so I am crabby and extra angry about things that only make me slightly annoyed.
Alright, so Ben and I's job is to stay positive to offset your grumpiness. Got it.
That's always
It's
my
gonna
job.
be really hard. Maybe I'll just fall asleep in the middle of the episode. We'll all be better for it.
Pull a dills.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
Hunts the Wind said banana in the chat. We can make
Ben,
a dancing banana.
There we go.
Ben, you have creative freedom to do whatever you want. You should do Marsha Brady. What the hell is that?
It's an orc.
It's not showing up on the stream yet.
It's like it's in 3D. Put it back in front of the overlay. I kind of like it. Like, move him a little more to the left and put him above the overlay so that his little sword is coming out. And then we can call this our first 3D episode.
There you go. That good?
There you go.
Here, let me move it down a little bit so that I can get rid of the... Oh, but I can't do that if I do that. We're going to have that little disclaimer wherever it's from at the bottom.
Yeah, well, we'll promote it.
I don't know. The third panel's still blank for me.
Oh, you'll
There we go.
3D.
Now, okay, now it's,
I hope you're okay
Yeah.
with that, Tet.
oh yeah, that's fine. No, that's perfect.
Just be happy that you're not Lita, because she always gets something kangaroo related.
No, that's fine. As long as it makes John happy, I'm good.
It's really dumb, but I like it. I have
There you-
a history of really liking dumb things.
Yeah, we could turn you into the inappropriate eye that's looking around all the time too.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
that disturbed the chat room for the entire show, so it was really,
Yeah, I'm sure.
perfect.
All right.
Where
well,
the hell did this orc come from, Ben?
Google image search. Where else?
It's
We're not gonna get in
probably
trouble
from,
for using this, right?
It's probably from like Dungeon Keeper or something like that.
No, we've got the actual address where it's from on the bottom there, so we should be
So,
good.
I mean, we're basically promoting their work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like anybody watches this anyway.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
No, there's only 16 people in the chat room.
They're not actually here. They just found this place by accident.
Yeah, and John, if you need to, on the video edit later, you just put a black box over that section. Wake up!
That was the softest clap to wake somebody up I've ever heard.
Well, yeah,
Wake
that's
up!
because I don't want to, like, clap really loud for you guys, because, you know, I'm listening, Cam's listening, we don't want ears to bleed.
Blades will bleed. Shields will something.
Blades will bleed.
Do you remember that? They used to say that for Legend of Zelda ads. Blades
Yeah.
will bleed.
I do remember that, and they
Did
lied.
you ever feel like in a Zelda game, blades bled?
No, they lied.
No.
It's really hard
They
to
lied.
say.
They lied. All right. Well, we're like 12 minutes past. So, what do you say we get started?
I thought we were almost done.
Okay, we'll make it fast, John. Azeroth Roundtable. I'm Ben, John, Cam. Hey, Roundtable stuff.
Hello.
How's the game?
I
Okay, let's go.
played games.
And we're done. No.
Ben, what did you do?
I played some games.
Sweet. In the news, Mercenary stuff, Angelic Diablo, announcements still coming.
The end.
Pre-order Legacy of the Void. Roundtable. Hey, it's weird how people don't like WoW anymore. You can follow us on Twitter. Peace.
There we go.
30-second Azeroth Roundtable.
Buy our shirt. The whole thing.
All right. Well,
Wait.
And now we can go play
Idiot
Heroes.
has a very important question for you, Ben. She
Okay.
wants to know, this isn't the Spider-Man Roundtable?
shit. Hold on.
Did we lose Ben?
The Spider-Man Roundtable? I don't know what happened to Ben.
I think we lost Ben.
But he's
Watch
not
the
doing
freaking video, guys. Hello.
Ah, there he is.
I'm reading notes. I only have 2 monitors.
Okay. Try it again, John.
So, Mignette in the chat says, oh, this isn't Spider-Man Roundtable?
Spider-Man!
Nice.
I need to remember to always have that loaded. Always.
Oh, there we go. I found a compromise. Okay.
All right, what are we done talking about, Ben?
I think we're done talking about.
Spider-Man!
Okay.
Okay. So, Tet, whenever you're ready, feel free to start us off.
And if you would pass the ball to Ben when you're done, we would really appreciate it. Can't
Done
stress
with
it enough.
the intro part.
Yes. I can do that. All right. In 5, 4. This is Tetsemi from AIE Podcast, and you're listening to Azeroth Roundtable.
And this is where I pick it back up, so he will not run with the show. Yes, it worked. It worked. I taunted the show back, John.
Taunt.
Job.
Taunt.
Damn it. Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable.
See? We interrupted you. It's tanking.
Yeah.
Fine. Anyways, Azeroth Roundtable,
You're just
episode
a healer
123. My name is Ben Bumhoffer, and with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
I'm sorry, what episode is this?
120.
All right, then.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm totally fine with being on 120. 120 episodes, Ben!
I know!
I
made a
don't know
big
what the
deal.
significance of that is, but I'm proud.
Well, before this one, there were 119.
Ah. It sounded like you said more than that, but that's fine.
That's because you were talking.
I know.
John, you can't actively listen when you talk.
I'm sorry, what? I was talking in my head mentally.
Yeah, you usually are. With us this week is one of our fan favorites and one of mine as well, Tetsemi. Welcome back, Tet.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yay!
He's being very careful about how much he says at this point. He's like, I'm not going to take over the show. I'm just going to be very curt and to the point. Thank you for having me.
So, what have you been up to? Stuff.
Things.
No.
Okay. No, I've came to the conclusion sometime between raid last night and doing the dailies in Tanan that I've made my peace with this expansion. I'm good. Everything is fine. I'm good. I've put the expansion on the back burner and said, okay, I'm good with it. I'm going to play what they've given me. It's enjoyable and just enjoy the game. So I'm good.
That's
I know it sounds odd, but I'm good. I've gotten over my anger issues. I'm letting the thing just lie, and I'm gonna go play in the jungle and have fun.
Sounds like a good thing wrapped in an ugly wrapper.
It kind of is, but at this point, it's the best they're gonna get. But no, it's fun. I've been raiding. We did Hellfire Citadel. We did Wings 1 and 2 of LFR just to get in and see the fights and see how they are. And John?
How are they, Tet?
There's a lot of trash. And I don't mean the trash in between the boss fights. The fights themselves seem like they have a lot of trash. Wouldn't you say, John?
Well, it's weird because we spent about a year talking about Siege of Orgrimmar, and during that time I may have expressed some poor raiding habits that I might have, thinking it was a safe place. I learned that was not true for a couple of reasons. For one, I learned that raid team members listened to the show, and that I couldn't tell you where I was hiding from trash because people would then go and look for me there.
Well,
and
I mean, you seem to forget that I'm one of your raid leaders.
Yeah, but, you know, you're supposed to be my best friend. You're supposed to have my back. You're not supposed to be like, John's hiding in the boss! John's hiding in the boss, everybody! He's not fighting trash. So for one thing, the raid team knew what I was up to. Apparently, Blizzard knows what I'm up to as well, because it turns out they have gotten the last laugh on me. Knowing that I'm not going to engage with the stupid trash that they fill their dungeons with, they have decided that we can make him do it if we make the boss fights all full of trash as well.
Yep.
In fact, the first boss in Hellfire Citadel is trash. The boss. So,
Kinda is.
yeah, so I actually have to fight trash now because it turns out that's now the boss. Which, honestly, jokes about my dislike of trash aside, I'm actually okay with this idea. Like, the major problem that I have with bosses, or with trash I should say, is that it feels like it's just there to waste your time. Like, it's just there to be an unfun thing between the fun things that are in Raid. You know, almost like, well, if you're happy all the time, you won't appreciate being happy. Like, so we're going to have to make you sad a little bit. So,
well, that's what happens when you don't get any gear. So, you know, they can take out the trash and we'll have that disappointment in there still.
Exactly. So, like, to me, if you're going to say, like, well, you're going to have to fight trash, but we're going to give you a chance for gear for it. Like, okay, there's a purpose to that. Like, now I'm fighting trash. I feel like I'm part of this invasion, and hey, there's a reward for it. And I'm like, I know that there are epic drops that can come from trash. Don't tell me that. I know. I've played this game long enough to know that's how it works. It's never been fun, and it's still not fun. At least this way, we know people are going to get gear. It's fine. It's good. So I actually don't mind it there, but there are a lot of bosses where it's like, all right, and in this phase, here come the ads. Like, there's a lot of ads coming out on these boss fights.
And it makes the tanking that much... I don't want to say tanking's not stressful to begin with, but there's a lot of... You know, a fight like Orgorger, which from a DPS standpoint, I know a lot of people don't like because it's constantly like doing a dance, let's move here, move here. For the tanks, you know, for the most part, it's basically like, okay, do you have shield wall running? Yes. Has the other tank taunted? Yes. Okay, we're good. And then you swap. And
block the acid.
Yeah, there's a rhythm to it, and it's it's kind of you kind of get in a rhythm on it. With these trash fights, there's no rhythm to it. It's just like, oh god, more ads. Oh, they're chewing on the healer. Go grab that ad. Okay, there's a vehicle. Drag all the ads out of the vehicle. So it's a bit stressful, but it's not bad. So
well, let me ask you this. So do you prefer something where there's like ads all the time, kind of like that first fight, or do you want them like just constantly spawning, or just spawning at random times? Because I mean, if you look at something like Beast Lord, you have the main boss and he gets different abilities, and that to me is interesting enough. Add the spears and that's borderline too interesting. Then you add a whole bunch of mobs that just kind of come in that need to be AoE down for like 30 seconds. To me, there's no point to that. Whereas something like Kilrog, okay, I don't understand why the ads are there. Like, the blood, I get, but the other ads that spawn, does Kilrog actually do anything, or is he just standing there getting beat on while other dudes are running in?
that's pretty much it. And you brought up Beast Lord, and I was going to use that as an example later. I love that fight. I honestly love that fight to death as a tank, because you've got two things to worry about: boss mechanics and a set of ads that come out at a certain time. And from the tanking standpoint, that's all you have to worry about. And it makes your rotation on the boss and your cooldowns. You can time them, and you can communicate with the with the other tank. Hey, you get the ads. Okay, I got the boss. Oh, I've got this many stacks. I'll go get the ads. You take the boss. And there's a good give and take to that, where you're never bored. Like, I'm just sitting on the boss tanking it. There's always something to do. I know it's a little chaotic with the spears coming down and trying to, heal and avoid the spears and all the ads coming out and chewing on you. But from a tanking standpoint, that's one of my favorite fights.
Yeah, and something that Chief Vol'jin says in the chat room is that tanks were complaining that they weren't getting anything, headed their way. They were getting bored. So do you think that it's too much that's being thrown at you, or is it kind of just enough?
I don't know. We'll have to see, because we've only seen the fights in this one a few times, twice on Wing 1 and once on Wing 2. So yeah, we'll have to see. There's probably a rhythm that you get into. Like the train boss in the Thogar, the operator in Blackrock Foundry. We've defeated that a couple times. That's just running chaos. There's no sense to that. I mean, that just, that's not a fun fight to me, because you're constantly dodging trains, cannons, grenades, ads, big ad, focus this ad down, and it's just, maybe I like simpler fights. It could be, as we were discussing pre-show, maybe I've gotten out of the WoW mentality for how raids need to be done, or they've just changed it so drastically they've shifted away from how I like raids. I don't want what's the in Naxxramas, the guy you pounded on all the time, and there's just a tank swap. I don't want a boring thing, but I also don't I want the DPS to have a chance to breathe. I want the healers to have a chance to breathe and not be dodging ads the whole time or having to worry about AoE fest. It just doesn't seem that interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm all for not having to heal every single second, because I run out of mana.
Yeah,
simple as that. It happens.
It happens. But that's that's raiding. We're good with that. I have been doing a lot in Tanan. In the jungle, I got Pathfinder done, so I'm ready for flying whenever that's off the paid TR. And honestly, I'm in fact not only revered with all the reps, I'm exalted with all 3 reps. No grinding.
Wow.
I did absolutely.
Way to just show off to everybody there, Ted.
No, but I didn't do any grinding. That's between the level 3 trading post and the Dark Moon Fair buff last week. I had a total of, I think, 9 medallions drop. The ones that give you 1,000 rep if you don't have any boost to it. So I was getting 1,300 rep for all the factions in Warlords per medallion. So that really helped put me over the top from revered to exalted. But that was fun. I do the 4 Hellfire bosses, Hellbore bosses, and instead of selling the medallions like everyone's doing for 10 to 20,000, I just used them because it's giving me rep on all 6 of the reputations, not just the 3 in Tanan.
So that is why I saw that you got exalted with the Frostwolves the other night. Okay, that makes
Yes.
a lot more sense. I'm like, is he actually grinding? What is wrong with this man?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
so I have Laughing Skull Orcs I'm honored with, which is the one you have to go grind in Gorgrond. Steamwheel Preservation Society, which is the goblins in Nagrand that you have to turn in the artifacts and the rare things, I'm revered with. Vol'jin Spear, which is the PvP one, I'm revered with. And then, yeah, the Frostwolf Orcs I got exalted with yesterday. I think I'm almost done with the Vol'jin Spear. I think I need like 1,200 rep for that.
Which
So-
that's crazy considering I'm going to take a stab at this here. You haven't done any PvP, have you?
No.
That's my kind of rep grind.
I took Tet into Ashram to get the explore Ashram things and do the initial quests, like go in, go see this, go see that. Okay, go win a battle or go do a thing. Okay, done. Turn that in, and I got out of there because it's not interesting. But that's a whole nother that whole Ashram thing. That's a whole nother discussion.
I like to think that the way you're getting PvP rep without PvPing is you just keep going and starting rumors about yourself. You're just like, I heard Tetsemi killed 500 people yesterday. Like right in front of an orc, and he's just like, I gotta tell the war chief.
Yeah, exactly. I did get the Jungle Stalker achievement, which is the kill all of the rares at least one, kill each rare once in Tanan, because I got the hunting crystal. And the nice thing about the hunting crystal, at least it seems like it, I don't know if this is just urban myth or not, but it won't take you to the same rare you've killed in that lockout period. So like if you kill other than the one that was bugged for a while up in the Arakoa area, it would always take you to that one. But I could do, I could hit that, and so I got to see some of the. I could do the exploration of Tanan without having to fly to get there or run through all the mobs. So it was kind of the, it's been what you were talking about earlier. It's I'm doing the flying achievement so I can go explore, but to explore, I'd really like to have the flying to begin with.
Exactly.
The cool thing I unlocked, which I had no idea about, was if you use the crystal once you're exalted with Order of the Awakened, which is the Arakoa faction, there's a secret rare that is phased that you can't get to any other way other than the hunting crystal taking you to it. And he stands up on the platform where you've ran into Kilrog, or not Kilrog, the Forge guy, when you came into Tanan and before the dam blew up. The guy you meet that's standing there in all the black armor.
Yeah.
So right where he's standing, that's where this mob spawns in Tanan, and he has a 30 to 40 yard knockback that you basically he starts channeling it and you have to get out of the way or he'll knock you off the platform. If you get knocked off the platform, you lose the debuff that allows you to see him and you can't fight him.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, but that gets you the Predator title, so you can become, Predator Alanya or Alanya the Predator.
That sounds like it's going to get you interviewed by Chris Hansen and locked up in jail.
But it's still it's an awesome title, and it was something I didn't know about. It was just I hit the crystal one day, and I'm like, "Oh, this is new." And I was fighting him, and I got knocked off the platform. I'm like, "Where'd he go?" I took Aviana's Feather, flew back up there, nothing. I even went and got because he's a demon. I even went and got an old school potion or elixir of Detect Demon. And went back up there to see if he'd show up on the mini-map, and he wouldn't. So I had to wait until the crystal cooled down, and I hit it again. And thankfully it took me back up there, and I could fight him again. So,
John,
did you try covering yourself in mud and fighting?
No, but that was next. Because there's plenty of mud from where that dam broke. I also...
John,
good Lord.
you just totally broke that for me. Just I gotta say, all I picture is this orcs like hiding behind a box saying, "Would you like some sweet tea?"
I know. Well, see, that's the thing is I was like, so I saw that you could get the title Predator in the game. And, you know, my mind being a child of the 80s, immediately went to, oh, that's awesome. Just like the Predator. And I'm going to go hunt Arnold and all sorts of stuff. And then I put it in the context of how it would sound with my character name. And as soon as I said, like, Predator Eos, I was just like, oh, that sounds like I'm going to be hanging out in front of schools and not good at all. Like, I need to not, like, if it replaced my name and I could just be called Predator, that's a little better, but
well,
I ruined it for myself, so.
Just give it to your rogue, and then, you know, you could, it'll work that way, because, you know, you can stealth, so.
I could stealth.
Yeah.
There you go.
Collect skulls and roar.
Yeah.
Blow up Azeroth if I don't get my own way.
Yeah. And have you guys noticed that if you're doing the Volmar dailies, that you're just getting a ton of Apexis crystals?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because I got the Corrupted Dreadwing, which is an amazing looking mount. And that's 150,000 Apexis crystals. And I went and looked today, and I had, because I bought it like 2 or 3 days ago, I'm back up to 40,000 Apexis crystals. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. This is as bad as dungeon running in Wrath of the Lich King
for Valor.
You know, for Valor. You know, it was adding up. It's great. But it's just the amount of Apexis crystals that are dropping is crazy, especially when you had the Apexis bonus weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped.
Definitely.
Got my level 3 shipyard. Haven't found a rare mission yet. And I completed In Pursuit of Gul'dan, so I'm done with the quote-unquote story of 6-2.
Good job. And that's
AKA the story of the game.
Pretty much.
And that ends up when you go in the cave and you can get the pet and stuff, right?
Correct, yeah. Okay. So I have the pet. In fact, I stood there and had to tell like 3 or 4 people, come over here and click on this. They're like, what? I'm like, there's a pet over here. Come click on this. And they're like, oh, I didn't even see that. I'm like, okay, people. Because I think at some point in Tanaan, either a garrison mission or something, if you're not using handy notes, you actually get the treasure map for Tanaan Jungle. And so it showed that the only thing I had left was the corrupted obelisk in the cave down by the Vault of the Earth, and then this corrupted crystal up above north of Volmar, which was the pet. So I knew it was on the map, and I was just waiting to look. I had to go back the next day, though, to get the follower, the guy that lets you in, spoiler alert, to the area, becomes a follower. But they had to hotfix that in, so he'd actually go, hey, I want to be a follower, instead of just going, yep, here, done.
Yep. I got him and immediately inactivated him, or deactivated him, whatever I want to call it.
I immediately got him to 675 gear level and sent him on some missions, and then went, okay, we're good. and the last thing, and then I'll be done, is I got my 5th bodyguard to Exalted, so now I got the Wingman achievement.
Crazy. But, I mean, it's easy for you since you're a tank, so you can actually, like, taunt, so that they don't just die. I have the hardest time with the
hardest
Warlock
one
girl.
was still Ada, which was the Blood Elf Warlock, because I could not keep her alive for long times. There'd be parts where I'd just look over and go, why is she dead? There was nothing hitting her. Why is she dead? But I actually started with, I had 3 Exalted going into Tanaan, and I got 2 from 0 to Exalted just doing the dailies.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, because you kill so much stuff.
Yes.
That makes sense.
But John, what have you been up to?
So I did that raid that we all talked about.
Yeah, raid.
So I went in there and did that. I'm getting dangerously close to completing my 3 tablets that I get from putting together, the 300 thingamabobs to do the thing. So,
yep, sounds about right.
All those MacGuffins you need to get another MacGuffin to turn in for a ring of actual importance. I'm working on that stuff still. So I'm almost there, and we'll have a little bit of story left to go, which I'm excited about, but not killing myself to try and get. So I did that. I've been occasionally like going in and doing the Apexis dailies. Like I still don't really like them, but it's fun for when I'm in a mood for playing WoW. So it's definitely like when I say, okay, well I want to sit down, I want to just spend some time in WoW. Like I've been doing it there. The only problem is if you do it casually, like I've been doing it, you become aware of how kind of useless the shipyard is. Like, for everybody who's doing their Apexis dailies and questing over there on a regular basis, I think it was the first day we talked about shipyards. I talked about not having oil, and I remember someone in the chat room saying, like, how do you not have oil? Let me tell you how you don't have oil. If you find the shipyard more interesting than the Apexis dailies, you will run out of oil.
Yep, and I've done that on a couple alts. Like, what do you mean I can't send a ship out? How do I only have 50 oil? I've got like 15,000 oil sitting over on Tet.
Yeah, so that's been my problem, is I have not cared enough about the Apexis dailies to build up a nice stockpile of oil, and in wanting to engage more with the shipyard, like, and maybe this is part of the problem with the shipyard, like, I was playing it so safe for a while, like, oh, I don't want to lose any ships, I need to keep everything safe. And then, because I was just trying to do that, I was playing it so safe that it was, all I was ever doing was removing blockades. So I'd remove a blockade.
You'd never catch up.
Yeah, to be able to access missions, but then it's like, oh, those are all like 70% chance and lower. I need to wait. And then I'd go off and do other things, and then I'd get enough oil, or I'd go back and I'd check it again, and there'd be a new blockade up. So all I was ever doing was knocking out the blockades and not getting anything for it. And finally I just said, screw it, I'm done worrying about it. I'm going to just send my ships off on whatever. And I started doing that, which worked out really well. I actually only lost one ship as a result. But because I was doing then at that point more missions and then having to rebuild ships more often, I ran out of oil almost immediately. And I feel like the intent behind that design is that Blizzard will say, oh, you're out of oil, better go do those Apexis dailies to get it. But what I do is I just say, oh, I'm out of oil, and then I log out of the game.
Yeah.
So
now you can get an oil rig, which is 400 oil. If you have a fast crew, you can get it in either 9 hours or 4.5 hours. It's normally an 18-hour, but you get that oil rig that sits off the coast, and generally that's not blockaded, so you can just send a ship out for the 400 oil.
Does that appear as just like a mission that you can do or something?
Yeah, it's basically you have to go buy the blueprint from either Vol'jin's Headhunters or Order of the Awakened. I think it's on the Headhunters.
Oh,
Yeah.
What rep do you have to be? Because
Let
me tell you, I'm not doing a lot of faction stuff either, because factions, well, it's
yeah.
whatever.
I think it's either honored or revered.
It's
probably
okay.
revered.
It's either revered or exalted. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure about that.
So I don't have either.
No,
of
you
those.
don't. You
Right.
don't have that.
But once you get that, then you're like, okay, then I don't need to do the dailies anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking, is like, if I'm at that point where I'm honored or revered with them, like by the time I get to that, I'm probably not going to care about oil anymore. So I don't know, it's weird. It's one of those things where, for the type of player I have become for this expansion, which, some of you are going to say is a dirty word, but is very casual. Yeah, I'm one of those filthy casual players right now at the moment. So, for the type of player that I am, it's one of those things where I can see and appreciate how the system works for people that are engaging with it in a regular basis. For people that aren't playing regularly, I can see why the way the systems are set up might drive them away a little bit. And I think that's why I've kind of flip-flopped back and forth a bit on being like, oh man, this is actually a really good patch, I'm really excited about it, to, I don't think it really added much for me. Like, I've kind of gone back and forth on that, and it just depends on how much I'm, forcing myself to play. So, I have not been playing a ton lately. I've been playing other games. Picked up a game called Rocket League.
Which is awesome.
It is a fantastic game.
I want that game.
I'm going to just say this. If you are out there and you have a PS4, you can own Rocket League right now.
If you're a member of PlayStation Plus.
Oh, yeah, good point. If you have a PlayStation 4 and you have PlayStation Plus, which really you should, honestly. I'm not currently signed up for PlayStation Plus. But you should. Go pick up Rocket League. It's amazing. It's $20 on Steam if you want to get it on the PC. If you look at it and you say, this doesn't look like the kind of game I would like, you may want to just go ahead and watch videos or do something. But it's one of those things where I say you almost have to play it to get it. Like, part of it is how it controls, how it feels. It is some of the most fun multiplayer I've had in a game in a long, long time.
And what is it exactly, John?
It is soccer with cars.
And a big ball that you bounce with the cars. It's awesome. I mean, the videos I've seen of the highlights of, just the 1v1 fights or the 3v3 fights are amazing.
Yeah, and it's just a ridiculously fun little game. So I've been playing a lot of that. Gorath, who we had on the show recently, he and I have been playing that. And it's one of those games that you unlock something after every match. Win or lose, you unlock something.
Oh, cool.
So there is a constant feedback loop of, oh, I just got this. And what it does is, much to my detriment, is you say, okay, I have to go to bed. I'm going to play one more match, and then I'm going to go to bed. And then here's the scenarios. 1, the match ends, win or lose, and you unlock something that then you want to use, so you play one more match to see it.
Right.
2, you lose, and you say, well, I don't want to stop on a loss. I need to stop on a win, so you play another match. Or 3, you win, and you say, that was awesome, we should keep playing.
Yep.
So it is, it's ridiculous. It is just, it's eaten up a lot of time, and it's just been a ton of fun. So I recommend it. Also, you can put hats on your cars, and that's pretty much all you need to know that it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hats on cars.
Hats on cars. My car has a little angel halo around it. My car is called the Paladin.
Nice.
It's got wings, and it's got a little flag that I don't know what's on it, but it looks cool.
Okay.
So
cool.
There you go. What more do you need? If
That's
you need
about
more
it.
than that, you are asking for too much in this life.
It's good mindless fun playing soccer with cars and a big ball.
Guys, it turns out that all we needed to make soccer the greatest sport of our time was to play it with cars. We had the right idea, but the wrong format.
You should see
Now we
that,
just need to get this on Mythbusters.
Yeah, and the cars need to be able to double jump. That's also a key important factor.
Yeah,
so they could figure out how to do that.
There's an episode of Top Gear that does something like that, and it's fantastic. They actually do it. It's great.
Do the cars double jump?
They don't double jump, but they're pretty close.
All right, well, we're almost there then.
Okay, yeah. We just got to get the jumping part done.
Yeah, once we have the double jump and the nitrous boost.
Yeah, there is that.
When I boost, sparkles come out of the back of my car, and it plays a, I don't know, like a sparkly sound, like a chime.
And no, Mignette, we do not need a Pepe hat for the car.
No, that
We're trying to make Pepe happen.
That might actually need to happen. That'd be pretty good. I had a pirate hat on my car.
See, that's awesome.
That was a pretty fun thing to put on the car. And a little beanie.
Would that have been a car? Arr.
Car.
Sorry, Ben.
Ben?
Yeah.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, John.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm really tired, Ben.
I know you are.
So I'm going to buy myself a quick little siesta and say, what have you been up to? That sounds
Nothing.
really bad. It sounds like I don't
It
actually
does.
care. I'm going to just go to bed.
Nothing at all. We're moving on so that you have to stay awake.
No, Ben, I want to know about your third tablet on your mage, or Draenor Pathfinder, or Legendary Ketchup. I only know what some of those mean.
Well, I got the third tablet on my mage. Woohoo!
Yay!
So here's the thing. I forgot that I still need to go in and defeat the twins in order to do that, so I'm stuck until I actually do that. I would have loved to do it with our raid team, but I don't bring my mage to raid anymore, so I'm going to be LFRing that pretty soon here. Yay. But
Yay.
I do like the fact that when you turn in your third tablet, you get a new ring anyway, so I'm like, oh, I guess I don't really have to do the other thing, kind of. So, actually pretty excited about that. As for Draenor Pathfinder, hey, guess what? I finished that.
So you're going to have flying when the patch comes out.
Yes, as soon as it comes out, I'm going to have flying.
What are you going to do?
And how much did you have to grind?
Okay, so, John, I'll answer your question first. I'm actually going to fly around Draenor and explore the way that I want to.
Okay.
Tet. Okay, so here's the grinding that I did. It was Darkmoon Fair week. I went ahead and bought some of those really awesome rep hats, and I jumped into, I think, overall, 2 Saberstalkers rep groups. And we run around. I think I did maybe 2 hours tops. And then finally at the very end, I noticed, like, oh, well, heck, if I finish this one quest where you have to kill the 3 dudes, that's going to put me over into Revered. So I'm like, bye, guys. I just dropped the group, went over there, started a new group for that, killed that dude, said, thanks, guys. Walked in, turned it in, boom, Revered.
Yep, and just a pro tip, if you kill those 3 guys, even if you don't have the quest, you will get 6 of the corrupted Apexis crystals towards that 10 that you need every day.
Yes, which is very handy. But
How many hats did you unlock while you were in this group for 2 hours?
I didn't unlock a hat with that, but earlier today, I got my shipyard to level 3. I now have 2 carriers. One of them is the Enterprise. The other is Shield, because I thought it'd be weird calling it Helicarrier. But,
Yo, man, this is Helicarrier.
But I went back up to my garrison, and I had mail, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I open up my mail. I have an Admiral's hat now. It's pretty awesome.
To go with your Admiral's compass.
Yes.
To go with all the sailing you're doing?
Yes, all the sailing, which I'll do from the air pretty soon as I sail through the skies.
Solar sailing.
I just would have liked to have gone out on one mission on the ship. Mm-hmm. You know, not even, just one. You know, like the intro quest. Go out with the ship. No, it was, hey, great, you built a shipyard. Get on the ship. Okay, we're on the ship. Boom, you're back at Tanan in the starting jungle. Wait a minute, that wasn't any fun. Couldn't we have a shot of us sailing at least?
Look, I want to ride in the Mark II badly because...
Oh, I'm so jealous that you have that too.
John, do you know about this ship?
No.
It's a submarine called the Mark II.
There's a name it that?
No.
No, there's a 5% chance.
Yeah,
go ahead, Ben.
A 5% chance that you will get the sub. And it has
Hold on.
It has a Murloc crew.
That's cool, but I want everybody to play a little game here.
Okay.
I want you to guess what I think of the name of that sub based on the fact that I thought that Ben came up with it when I heard it.
That the first one, like, was destroyed?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, Mark II.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I think there's either a transport or a battleship that is also a Murloc crewed one that you can get as well from that. So there's a 5% chance for these 2 ships.
Yep, and that one's called the Mark III.
Oh. What happened to the Mark 1?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, no.
No, I do want to know. That's why I'm asking. That's the part of the story I'm interested in.
Yeah, but I think it'd be so cool to be able to get on the ship and then see all these Murlocs, like, crewing it and just, you know, like, going underwater and seeing stuff, and that'd be awesome. That's like, that's my dream right now. I want a Murloc crew moving me around the world.
What would you name your first Murloc crew member? What would be your Murloc crew first officer's name?
It'd definitely be Lgurgle, Rugurgle, I don't know.
Okay, now you know why I thought Ben came up with the name of that ship.
I
Right.
hate you.
There's also a ship you can get at Exalted with the Order of the Awakened called the Awakener, and it's an Arakoa crew, and it's both a battleship. I think it's a battleship and a carrier. It doubles as both because of the Arakoa crew, and like that's what with Ben. I want to be on the ship, and all of a sudden, like, oh, we need a carrier mission. All the Arakoa take off.
That'd be so cool. You get air support from like a battleship.
Exactly.
Guys, you don't have to sell me on the pirate expansion idea. This is I'm sold. I'm already on board. Every time I send my ships off to sea, I just picture my character standing there with a single tear rolling down her cheek, wishing she could go and have nautical adventures as well.
Well, all you have to do is steal one of your ships that's being decommissioned and go save your dying friend who's magically alive again, and then go back in time, grab some whales, come back to the future, drop them off in San Francisco, and you'll be just demoted to captain, and then you can have a ship.
Seems like a good idea.
Complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Let's do that then. So I have to catch up on the legendary quest with my monk. I'm not going to talk about it much because there's not much to talk about other than I still need to finish doing the initial heroics. And then...
If only you knew a tank.
I don't.
Yeah, no, it's a shame.
Yeah.
We'll get you through that.
I know. And that's the thing. I mean, eventually, I'm probably just going to LFD it really quick just to go through, but... The thing is that the one that I have left to do is the slag mines. And I hate that
that's
place.
my favorite of the three.
Oh, okay. Well, Everbloom's my favorite because that place is easy.
That's my least favorite.
That's true. Yeah, Everbloom is too much trash.
Yeah. Yeah, surprise. Guess what? The one that's notorious for trash ended up being my least favorite. I like the slag mines because while I was in there, nobody knew. I went in very, very early. In the expansion's life, and nobody knew what Crowman was for, so we just grabbed him and had him travel with us anyway. We didn't know why he was supposed to do. We didn't do it correctly, so we didn't unlock him on that playthrough. We just were like, the hell is this guy doing? Also, I was the guy who clicked him, and I wanted to pretend that I wasn't, except he was following me around specifically, so... He kind of gave it away who clicked. I was like, I don't know what happened. It's weird. This guy just started following us.
Hey,
he seems to be following you, Revendon. That's weird. I must have been like group leader or something for a minute. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, I still need to get him as a follower. So you know what? Maybe we'll have to go in there.
There you go.
Anyways, that's enough about us. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on with Blizzard news.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
For ire. Stay a while and listen. Drink. Hellscream. Blizzard news.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that just cuts off. I need to fix that.
It does just cut off.
Yeah, it's okay.
We couldn't afford another second of bumper.
Nope, we couldn't. But
Blizzard has too many games is the problem.
Yeah, pretty much.
Too many games or not enough.
Okay, so
we'll see.
We're going to quick fire through these because we have more to talk about later. And there's a lot of news, actually. So did you guys see about the Mercenary thing with PvP?
Yes.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on it?
It's a long time coming.
Yep.
And is awesome. Like
it's a mechanical solution to something that's broken that they're not going to fix anytime soon without a complete revamp. It's a good solution.
I think I said last week, if you're looking for the deep-seated lore in PvP, F off. Because,
exactly.
Guys, you're ruining the fantasy of me capturing this flag 3 times by having all these mercenaries here. Who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, and the fact that you actually turn into one of the other races, it makes sense. It works. Although I really love the fact that the picture in the article about it has an orc standing there with a human mask on. And personally, I would love it if that actually happened as opposed to you actually changing into a different race.
I feel
That's just the recruiter. The guy that does the recruiting for you that you have to talk to do that is that guy with the mask on. So they've all got Halloween masks on both sides.
I feel like I was quasi-dismissive to a group of people that maybe don't think this is a great idea. So, briefly, I'm going to play a devil's advocate to myself and just say, for a long time, Blizzard has said that it was very important that you feel like you are playing your character when you PvP. This is why they go through the nightmare that is class changes and balancing and tuning to try and get PvE and PvP to work hand in hand in the same universe, is because it is so important that you be playing your character when you go into PvP. This kind of defeats that purpose to some degree. It's at the very least a chink in the armor. I don't think that's supposed to be a phrase you're supposed to use anymore, actually, now that I think about it, but
nope,
whatever.
You can use that because you're speaking about the armor, and it's talking about the armor itself. And
I am, but I don't want to offend anybody. So
Well, you're fine.
Here's the thing. Hold on, John. When you're done, I have the perfect counter to this.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay, so if you're so worried about that, you're still PvPing as your character. But guess what? We've had instances where you change race before in a little place called the Caverns of Time. So when you're PvPing and you have to go talk to this mercenary recruiter guy, he is actually a golden dragon, or a bronze dragon, if you will, in disguise, disguised as someone as the opposite faction. And when he puts you in that battle, it's actually a battle that takes place in the past, and he disguises you to take part in it as one of those other races. Boom. Lord. Not like you have had lore
Yes.
thrown at you.
Nice. No, I
Moving
agree.
on.
It's a short-term solution until they can figure out the direction that they want to go for unranked PvP and world PvP, and that's all this is a solution for. It's trying to get the queue times down in Ashram and get people to world PvP again in Ashram. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be anything else. It's nice that they're trying to tie it to something rather than just like, yeah, I guess everybody can just queue up together. Like, at least there is some lore acknowledgement to it, but that's all it's going to be. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And that lore acknowledgement is the bronze dragonflight. Boom.
No, it's Lord.
Lord.
Okay, well, we talked about raiding for a little bit before, but there's actually raiding news. That's right, folks. The world first mythic kill of Archimonde has happened. So, congratulations to Method.
472 polls.
I bet like
Sounds
3
like
of those were a
me
hunter
at
who...
the age of 13.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Well, no, because I played a lot of EverQuest, and leveling was really difficult. It took a long time. You had to pull a lot of mobs to level up in EverQuest.
This is true.
I know, but that number's low for that, John, especially when you were 13.
I was trying to be conservative.
You had more time to play.
Yeah, summer vacations.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So anyways, good job, Method. We're proud of you. Speaking of time travel, guess what's going on this weekend, guys?
Time walking dungeons.
Back to the
Time-walking
future.
dungeons.
Oh, time walking dungeons.
Yeah, for my favorite expansion, Wrath of the Lich King. The one expansion where I did dungeons every day.
Me too.
Yep.
I did a lot of dungeons in Wrath.
And I did one today, and they were actually quite fun. I got, shocker to Ben, the Nexus.
That is the dungeon that I got every single time I queued for LFD in Wrath of the Lich King.
So it should take you right back there.
Oh yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to doing this. In fact, depending on how awake John is at the end of the show, we might be doing some time walking dungeons after the show, if he's still awake.
Yes. But they're fun. They feel mechanically like you're running them over-geared for the level you're at, but it's fun. I mean, Ben, make sure if you take Alanya that you take Terragos's Wrath. John, make sure you take Revendon and take your daggers. You did get
Tell me what to do. I have Illidan's things.
You have the Warglaves?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, great.
John, that's 10 levels too low for Wrath of the Lich King.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
It scales. It scales in some way.
It scales up?
Sure.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I don't know if that's true. We'll find out.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. This next bit of news, I didn't put in there, so take it away, someone.
I did.
Oh.
Are you talking about the
Heroes news? So, oh wait, no, we're still in WoW news, aren't we?
You're so tired.
Okay.
I can't read.
It's okay, John. I'll take this one. Rogue gave this idea, and I think he put this idea that we're probably not going to see any more news or announcements from Blizzard until after Gamescom, because conveniently enough, it starts 2 days after they announce their second quarter numbers. Ooh. So I'm guessing if you were going to announce something other than, Friday afternoon, you would announce it beginning at Gamescom, depending on how the numbers come out. So Rogue gets the credit for that idea, but I like it. So that's my guess when we'll hear more Blizzard WoW news.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. The numbers are great and fantastic. Doubtful. Great and fantastic. Do we get an announcement?
Yes.
The numbers are piss poor and through the basement. Do we get an announcement?
Yep. See, one way or another, you're going to get something, but it's going to serve a double purpose if the numbers are bad.
Yeah, that works.
Something like a Diablo expansion announcement. Nothing will bring people back to WoW like a Diablo expansion pack.
Hey, if there's a pet involved, I'll get it.
That's true.
And I'll actually play it for this.
I just have to stand by what my prediction was.
Which is?
I predicted that's what they were announcing, a Diablo expansion pack. Oh, well, let's do it right now. Ben, what do you think they're announcing at Gamescom?
At Gamescom, the Diablo expansion.
Okay, so there you go.
John, there's some Heroes news, and I think that's a topic that you'd like to talk about.
Oh my gosh, who would have thought? Hey everybody, John here. So, Heroes of the Storm is a game that's out right now, and there's a little bit of news. First of all, Blizzard announced that this week they were not going to be releasing Leoric. I don't think many people necessarily thought they would, but they went ahead and teased us with a little video kind of explaining what Leoric is going to be and what he's going to do. And it was a pretty good video, so you should check that out.
I really like him. In fact, I think that is a really good tanking class for Civ, because he'll just be there and die, and then he'll keep attacking stuff and come back to life. That's perfect.
Honestly,
for him.
This is a perfect Civ hero.
It's a perfect Civ class.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's like, you mean I die and I get to keep playing? Fantastic. So, yeah, Leoric's coming soon. And but there was one other little thing that happened. And this actually brings up an interesting thing that I kind of have a problem with in Heroes. So we logged in to play some matches on Tuesday. Which I guess I could have talked about and what I've been up to, but whatever. It was only the most exciting thing that happened all week, so naturally I glossed over it. Team Chocolate had some matches. We had 2, as a matter of fact. And one of the things that I noticed is when I logged in, you see the Battle.net launcher pop up, and usually you're going right for the play button and you hit it, and most of the time you don't even notice what's on the front page. I caught a glimpse of it. It was enough for me to see that they had added a new skin and a new mount to Heroes of the Storm. Mm-hmm. Where the frustration is a little bit is I got very excited, and sure enough, they have added Angelic Diablo, which looks incredible, and they've added Tyrael's Charger as a mount. Very cool things. Everybody I told that to that night was shocked by it. They had no idea. And it's because nobody really checks that initial launch page, and if you go to the shop, The only way you could tell it was added or even get a hint that it was added is one of the items on the side was a bundle that included the Angelic Diablo skin, but they didn't advertise it anywhere. You actually had to go over, search skins, and then see that it had been added to the store. So I'd like to see them clean it up a little bit to maybe do a better job of showing people the new stuff. On one hand, I really respect the fact that Blizzard is not like hitting you over the head with things to buy, but at the same time, it's nice to know when they add new things to the store at the same time. You're
happy that they're not Uthering it, but you'd prefer maybe the Butcher to not be on the front screen right now.
He does, like, Angelic Diablo doesn't need his own loading screen, but they have, if you click on shop, they've got the Butchers on there, they've got the Diablo bundle, and they've got all the heroes that are discounted right now, and they have 2 empty spaces that aren't showing anything at all. Why not put the 2 new things that you just added to the store in those spaces and let everybody know, hey, these are brand new items you couldn't get before today? I think that would be cool, mostly because then people will spend money on heroes, and then heroes will continue to grow and be awesome.
Alternative idea.
Okay.
What if the Butcher says,
hey, check out that new Diablo skin?
That might push me out of the realm of...
Did you know that Tyrael's Charger's in the shop? Meat.
Hey, John, I actually have the same issue with Blizzard, but with WoW. Did you know, one, that it's time walking, and you really don't know that unless you're paying attention to the walker, and 2, did you know there's a weekly quest that if you do 5 time walking dungeons, you get a iron chest from Hellfire Citadel and an extra seal of inevitable fate?
Yes.
Now, how did you know that?
Because
He
when
saw it
I
on
logged
Twitter
in
earlier
during
today.
time walking last time, I saw that quest.
Yeah, and see, I logged in, and I did not see it at all. There's nothing that says, hey, idiot, go open the Adventurer's Journal.
Well,
I just
did
have
you
to go...
check your... Well, that's what I was about to say. Did you check your Adventurer's Journal? Because that's why they added it.
No, because everything's static in there. It's always go do a mythic dungeon, go do this raid, and go do that. And I'm like, I'll just throw it open just to... Because somebody mentioned in chat, yeah, you do 5... I'm like, where's that quest? And they're like, it's in your journal. Like, okay, open the journal. Oh, yeah, there it is. Why isn't there just a little reminder when you log in that says, hey, something new added to the Adventurer's Journal, you might want to look at it?
Look,
Very simple.
I found the quest from a homeless orc sitting outside of my town hall in my garrison. He had an exclamation point over his head. That's how I found it.
I felt bad for him. I thought I needed to give him money.
Yeah.
No, see, and that's the issue. I know that guy's there, but I've got so many exclamation points in my garrison that I'm ignoring because I'm not in the garrison. I don't bother to go look and see if there's a new exclamation point. There's too many on the map right now.
I seriously thought you were going to say, I know that guy's there, but I mean, I just take the long way around. I
just pretend he's not there.
I mean, otherwise I have to toss him a couple copper.
That's when I try and sneak out the door before the troll next to the table goes, hey, guy, I got the stuff for you. I try and sneak out around him so he doesn't stand up and catch my attention. Then I feel guilty because I'm not doing his Apexis dailies.
Every time Tet walks out of his garrison, he pats his pockets and then shrugs at him and then just speeds on by.
I'm sorry, I'm all good on Apexis. I don't need your daily.
He suddenly gets really interested in his smartphone as he walks out of his garrison. He's just like, oh, what's the stocks doing as he goes past him?
Pretty much.
Commander.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't want to pull a Randy Deluxe and complain about stuff, but there could be a little bit more, hey, there's something new this week in your face a little bit about it.
Well, don't you get a little exclamation point on the icon for the journal in your, toolbar?
If you had the standard UI and didn't have that menu bar completely hidden so it only showed up when you moused over it.
Well, you know what? Whose fault is that?
I also have that problem. I don't know. I think if you're going to be all excited about... here's the advantage to thinking that timed events are stupid is I don't ever feel obligated to check it at all, ever, because I don't care. And so... I don't feel like I'm ever missing anything.
Right,
So I don't need to check it. And if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, did you know you can time walk Wrath of the Lich King right now? I get to gauge that on is that something I want to do right now? Yes or no, and then I either can or I can't. Except for the Dark Moon Fair, which I just don't do on a matter of principle. Except for that one time that I did it. And got
the nice thing is, if you haven't accepted the quest yet and you've already done time walking this week, it still counts those as achieved in that same quest. So when I popped open the quest and accepted it, I was at 1 of 5. So I was like, oh, good, it counted. I didn't have to do 6.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. For a moment, I thought it was going to track what it asked me to do last time for time walking.
No.
I was like, oh, that's nice. Because here's the problem. I don't want to do 5 time walking dungeons.
Okay.
Depends on the 5.
I kind of just want to do 1.
We're going to do 4 tonight. 4.
No, I can. Somebody might do 4 tonight. I will not be one of those people. I am looking forward to it, though. I found out that Wrath time walking was happening because Ben said, hey, John, what do you want to do after the show? Do you want to do Wrath time walking dungeons or go see Ant-Man? And my answer was, I want to go see Ant-Man. And then I got really tired and I said, maybe I want to do time walking dungeons instead.
That is why we're not going to a movie after the show tonight.
Makes complete sense.
Yep. But as announcements go, I'm really confused about Hearthstone.
You know, why is
it was
this
an
in here?
announcement of an announcement, so that's
We've already
that's all
talked about the announcement for the announcement.
No. We
Okay.
talked about the first announcement that was going to make the announcement, where they announced that there's going to be an announcement at the Foundry.
So now we're talking about the actual announcement that's going to happen.
Yes. As opposed
July
to...
22nd, there's going to be an announcement. And then we're done. It's not an announcement of an announcement.
Well, we don't know,
Correct.
because the previous 2 announcements have been announcements of announcements. So, in theory, this will actually be the announcement. But, I mean, this could be one of those Christmas presents, giant box, all the way down to a tiny box things.
I have an announcement about Hearthstone.
You like it.
I'm getting the new deck for this month.
very nice.
You mean the card back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that for the Galaxy
I can
X6 or the
No, I
getting
don't
to
have
level
the
20?
Galaxy
Okay.
S6. What am I, made of money? I don't
No,
know
I
what
didn't
that
know what
means.
phone
I
you
just
have.
wanted to throw that out as a statement. I don't know if that's actually even remotely true. No, I'm getting the cool troll one. I think the troll one looks really cool. I think this is one of the coolest looking card backs they've had in a while.
I agree, and I won't get it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ben. I will show you my card back at some point. Yeah.
And last but not least for news, hey, guess what? You can pre-order Legacy of the Void right now.
And if you do, you get the Zeratools prologue missions, 3 missions, and you get to play that right now. You could be playing new StarCraft 2 content right now.
Right now.
I still need to go back and finish the original story.
I need to finish the original story so I can remember how to play StarCraft so that I don't feel like a total loser when I play the Heart of the Swarm campaign, because Zerg are hard to control, and then I can play Legacy of the Void after that.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
That is definitely a plus. But what's really cool is not only do you get the prologue right now, if you get the digital Digital
Deluxers?
Deluxe Edition, or I'm assuming the physical Collector's Edition, you get stuff for all the different games, which is pretty cool. You get a card back for Hearthstone, you get a Archon pet for WoW, for Diablo you get a pet, as well as, I think, an armor set? Maybe? I don't know. You get pictures for StarCraft, and for Heroes of the Storm, you get a mount.
Oh, what mount?
It's like a ship. You essentially get a hoverboard.
Is it a ship or is it a cup?
It's a speeder.
Oh.
Like
with
a
that-
Star Wars speeder?
Roundtable!
Shut it!
Roundtable.
Yeah, we went to Star Wars. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Roundtable, where we discuss in depth the issues. Oh, that reminds me, I had a whole thing to talk about Star Wars.
You did. You're going to have to keep going.
Yeah.
We got,
Star Wars.
Yeah,
we
Do
gotta
the
keep
Star Wars
going.
update. We'll
Gotta
do
keep
the
going.
round table in a little bit. Give us your
Ben,
Star
can
Wars
I
update.
tell you, and it's somewhat related to the roundtable topic, I had this idea that I really wanted to do And then I realized we were nowhere near April 1st, which would be the most appropriate time to do this. But I wanted to start teasing, and I was going to start on this episode, and I was debating whether I was going to even tell you about it. But we were going to start saying every single episode for the next couple of weeks. And coming up next month, huge mega announcement about our show. Episode 125, we're going to have a major announcement about the show. So make sure you show up. It's going to be real huge, real important that everybody be there. You'll definitely want to check that one out. Do it every single show. And then on episode 25, we're like, okay, you all want to know what the announcement is. So episode 125, we took a look at it, and we've decided we're going to keep going.
Nice. I thought you were going to say we're going to end Azeroth Roundtable and start up like Naboo Roundtable.
No, we're going to keep going, though.
Wow.
All right, let's keep going.
That's a funny joke for like 5 people who listen to the
I know.
show.
We explained that we're going to keep going on the show.
Did we?
The listeners know about that
Okay.
you randomly, out of nowhere, will
That's right.
encourage our raid team with, guys, we're going to keep going.
Okay, so Star Wars thing. I built it up so much it's not even important anymore. It's stupid. But so last episode, and also I think it was our Saturday fun run afterwards, we were talking about SWOTOR and story and everything like that. And I finally came to the point where I said, okay, after the move, if I've got a little bit of extra money, I'm probably going to subscribe, play through the story just so I can get through it and see it, because I'm really missing that. And with the new Star Wars movie coming out, I really want to play some Star Wars something, to the point where I'm probably going to be installing Republic Commando any day now and just busting through that again, because that game's great.
It's a good game.
Especially the second level. Oh, that second level's awesome. Anyways,
Which one's the second level?
the dead ship in space.
Oh, yeah, that's a good level.
Good level. Anyways, so I went ahead and now keep in mind, I'm not complaining about the exact thing that happened because it's good that it happened. Okay? And you'll see what I mean. Okay, so since the last time that I played SWOTOR, I had the authenticator on my phone. I've gotten a new phone. I do not have the app anymore. So no authenticator.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I don't know my password. So, I
feel like I know the rabbit hole you're about to fall
Yes.
down, because I'm pretty sure I fell down this rabbit hole too,
Yeah.
but please continue.
And again, this just shows that it works. But as someone who's legitimately trying to get into their account, there's a way to remove your authenticator if you've lost it. You need to have your password for it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to reset my password. You need to put in your authenticator to reset your password. So there's no way that I can recover this unless I spend time and give them a call. And I did
Working
everything
as intended.
Yeah, it's working perfectly, and I understand that, and I'm praising them for that because you're doing your job. But F you, I don't want to put the effort in. I'm not going to play your game because I wanted to be secure before.
I actually ran into a problem not too long ago with Guild Wars 2, where I wanted to get back into that for a little bit. That I don't even have an authenticator on. And I got locked out of the account so bad with the built-in security measures they have that I had to just keep guessing at my password until I finally got it right. Otherwise, I would not have been able to play the game.
Wow.
So there's some weird loop, and I'd have to go through it all again, which I probably will the next time I want to play Guild Wars 2 again, where it just would not let me play. So security doing its job, keeping me out of it. Ben, if you ever get back in, you should play as a Sith.
Well, I'll probably continue as my bounty hunter. But, eventually I'm sure I'll call at some point if I get really bored between now and, like, December or something like that. But, yeah, so it's not happening anytime soon. That's all I'm saying. It was incredibly frustrating, but again, I can't fault them for it.
Right, because that's what you got the authenticator for.
Exactly.
Although I will say this, one of the funniest things I've ever seen Ben do is he was over in my apartment one day, and it was right around the time that I had just, like, decided I was going to try it again and get back into it. And like a good friend catching somebody who had been addicted to something falling off the bandwagon or something, Ben sees the authenticator on my desk and is like, John, is that a SWTOR authenticator on your desk?
Nice.
Yeah,
I'd never felt so guilty for something in my entire life. There was so much judgment in his statement.
Look, we could have been on an after-school special. We really could have.
Is that drug paraphernalia on your desk? No.
John, are you smoking the crack cocaine?
I'm holding the authenticator for a friend.
Liar! I learned it
Billy
by
told
watching
me to
you,
hold
all
on to
right.
his authenticator because he needs to focus on his schoolwork.
I learned it by watching you, all right. I learned it by watching you. Welcome to the Roundtable, where we discuss in depth the issues that mean the most to us, the players. This week's Roundtable topic is all about non-Blizzard support. Now, this is going to sound kind of weird.
What does that mean exactly, Ben?
Exactly. This is going to sound kind of weird. It's something that Tet actually emailed us, and I thought, this is really interesting. Hey, John, would you like to have this as a topic and bring Tet in to talk about it? And John said, I haven't read the email, whatever, Ben. So, no, in all honesty, he looked through it and everything.
I really did say that. And Ben, I still have not read the email. But realizing that I owed you an answer to the should we have Tet on to talk about it discussion, I said yes because I made a judgment call and felt embarrassed that I hadn't read the email yet.
Well, to be fair, you always did say, I love having Tet on the show, so.
I do. So I was okay with that. But I don't know. I know vaguely what it's about because I skimmed it.
Yeah. Now,
Tet writes really long emails. I just want to throw that out there.
I write stream of consciousness emails, sorry.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's great. But in the in the essence of time, could you give us the basis of the email, and then we're going to use that as a kicking off point?
Sure. Basically, it's each expansion, Blizzard has changed, either added or modified an underlying system that has affected the players to where an add-on or a set of add-ons is felt necessary, and because Blizzard's game allows you to do that, it allows the players to go in and modify, change, make better Blizzard's UI implementation of their game system. So for the most recent thing, the thing that everyone was focused on was, oh my god, Master Plan and Garrison Mission Manager aren't updated. I can't even look at my mission table and send people out because it's too, I got to do math. And people were like losing their minds over not having that add-on because they didn't like Blizzard's implementation of the UI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the basis of the email is looking at the success or failure of an expansion just from the add-on author standpoint, and from the people that use the add-ons, what add-ons were brought to life or created to solve an issue in an expansion, and did that highlight something that was popular in the expansion, or just something that was made so drudgingly dreary that you wanted an add-on just to do it all for you.
Yeah, and we've seen some of these things pop up over the course of the entire game, where Blizzard has actually taken these UI add-ons and put them into their specific add-on or UI. And
exactly,
it's some of the most amazing stuff that comes from the community. But one of the big things that caught my eye is the fact that, we're not putting this in a negative way, but it's just that there hasn't really been a gigantic add-on for this expansion except for Master Plan. Whereas, you highlighted some of them in your email here, like Quest Helper was a giant one for Vanilla and BC, and they actually grabbed that and implemented it and put it into the game itself. Lich King, you have Atlas Loot. A big one is being able to see like item level and stuff. It's just, it's kind of crazy how so much of this has evolved through the course of the game, but this expansion, there hasn't been a whole lot of improvement.
Yeah, and I think because it was all focused on garrisons and the mission table, and it was solving that particular thing. Because, for Cataclysm, the big thing was reforging, and that spawned Ask Mr. Robot to do that, because the idea of reforging, and as much as this pains me to say it, I'd almost like to have reforging back, because the RNG on some of this gear is not favorable, and I'd love to get rid of some of the stats, but not that much.
Yeah, or even like being able to take the baleful stuff that you get in Tanan, and choose one of the things to randomly change. Like, let's say for me, I want like crit and multi-strike, but I get haste and multi-strike.
Versatility.
Yeah, something like that, where I can choose one specific one in case you get one of the tertiary stats that you want, so it doesn't re-roll everything completely.
Yeah, kind of like the for the garrison, you get those follower icons where you can re-roll traits or abilities, and some of them you can pick specific ones to re-roll.
Yeah, exactly. John, I know that you haven't been as active as of late in WoW, but did you actually add any new add-ons for Warlords of Draenor compared to, like, say, Pandaria?
No, mostly what I did was like Garrison Mission Planner and stuff like that, which, I mean, to me the big thing is I don't want to see the animations, which now Blizzard has added a way to skip those. And actually, I thought it was kind of funny because when the new patch came out, I saw so many people like, I'm not even going to play it. Those animations are just too long. Like, until I can skip those, I'm not going to play it. Totally unaware of the fact that Blizzard added a way for you to skip it with the default UI that worked quite well. So I was still participating in those missions where everybody else was taking a stand saying, no, I'm not going to do it. So I like that. The thing is I feel like Blizzard wanted to make this kind of like little mobile-esque tabletop game of I'm going to compare these people and what's the success rate and move these things around. And I think maybe they thought that was fun, but I don't think anybody actually thought it was fun enough to be a game, and I think that's why you saw that Garrison Mod Manager become so prevalent this expansion. I'm sure I've messed that name up multiple times, but you know what I'm talking about. The one that updated every 10 seconds when it first came out. So I used that one, and I thought that one was really great. Other than that, this is actually the first expansion where I don't have Curse automatically launch when I turn on my computer. I maybe go and check for updates once a month, maybe once every couple of months here and there. Like, I don't feel the need to update it very often because once I got it to where it worked, I don't feel like there's a lot of features that I'm demanding. And it's not just because, I haven't been playing as often. I just feel like once you've got your UI squared away, like there's not a lot of need for constant tweaking and updates and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like maybe there used to be.
And you're someone who I know you did tweak your UI a whole lot as well. How much of it is completely like radical and different in add-ons versus the stock UI now?
I use ElvUI, so my UI looks very different from the stock UI. I used to use Xpearl and keep everything very close to similar because I always wanted to have... My original philosophy was if this add-on goes away and is no longer supported and I have to use the default UI for a little while, like I don't want to feel all of a sudden unable to play the game as a result. And then eventually I just got to a point where I was like, yeah, but ElvUI looks so nice. And so I ended up switching to that. And sure enough, at a certain point, ElvUI broke for me. And I stopped playing WoW until it was fixed because I could not go back at that point. Like, it was very, very challenging.
No, I agree. Same thing. Once the expansion launches, you just kind of sit there and go, Oh God, I hope these add-on authors get this stuff up to date soon because I can't live without X or Y. You know, it's something as simple as I run Chinchilla minimap because I don't like the minimap in the upper right-hand corner. I want it down in the lower right-hand corner because I have buffs and other things up in the upper right-hand corner that I pay more attention to than the minimap. And so the whole genesis of this email was, you know, every expansion seemed to add something cool that traveled with you as part of your user interface. This is the only one where the big add-on, realistically, is something you only look at when you're in your garrison. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't change anything when you're out in the world.
Well, and one of the funny things is that for Warlords of Draenor, this is the first time that I actually used handy notes. But that was big. I know it was big on the Timeless Isle, and if I remember correctly, it was actually pretty big before that as well. Like all throughout Pandaria, maybe even in Kata. I don't know when that actually came around, but because of what they've done with, you know, the treasures and the rares and everything like that, that's when I just went ahead and did that, and I only loaded the Draenor like handy note set because that's all I really cared about. And it's a great help, especially if you're going through and you don't want to try to look inside a wagon to see if there's a small little purple dagger just sitting in there that you would never see unless someone told you to, you know, take a look over there. So, I mean, it's a great add-on, but again, it didn't really come from this expansion.
Right. And it, you know, and the thing is, usually if you're looking in the wagon for that purple dagger, there's 3 or 4 orcs beating on you. Mm-hmm. So it's like you want to know, okay, I got to get there, clear an area, get there, grab it, and then move on if I'm interested in that dagger. One thing that I do miss though from Pandaria and especially Timeless Isle, there was an add-on called Rare Coordinator that would let you know which rares were up and how recently they've been killed. And I kind of feel it's telling for this expansion that Tanaan would be the perfect place to bring that add-on back, and no one has bothered to do a version of that. The best you get now is they finally updated NPC scan a day ago. So, you know, how long has this expansion been out? 2 to 3 weeks. And they just got around to updating NPC scan. So it tells you, oh, by the way, Doom Roller is up. So instead of having to figure out, as Sasori told everyone in Guild Chat, what the different shouts were, now it actually, NPC scan will let you know, hey, Doom Roller spawned, or Vengeance has spawned, the four Hellbanes. But it took 2.5, 3 weeks for that add-on to be updated. And I'm just wondering how invested the add-on authors are for these one-off systems and things like that don't necessarily you need for all of your expansion, but definitely help for certain parts of it.
Well, the fact that Tanaan is just like so densely packed with, you know, well, first of all, orcs, but there's so many rares that just, you know, come and go so much that Rare Coordinator, I don't know if it actually worked too well for that, because by the time it announces something, I mean, granted, Timeless Isle, this happened anyway where things would just die, but I mean, to actually get to where one of these rares is, it's incredibly hard compared to Timeless Isle, where, you know, even if you're on the top level, you can just drop down. If you're on the bottom level, it's just a little bit of a run. Where with this, like, if you're trying to take a shortcut, you're getting attacked by everything. But
well, I mean, that happens today. I mean, like, Vengeance has spawned, and you see somebody run in from the entrance, and they pull all the mobs from the beginning of that bonus area into and on top of Vengeance, and it just dies to the AoE anyway. So,
yeah, could be. But they've also done a great job with their, you know, custom group finder. And I think that's kind of what took the place of the Rare Coordinator in a sense, at least with the 4, you know, like, I guess I want to call them mini bosses that are scattered around Tanaan.
Yeah, the Hellsbane rares, because there's an achievement for killing all 4 of them.
Yeah, it's just one way where, you know, you stand in the area, you just pull up the group finder, look, refresh. Oh, there's Doom Roller, join, kill it, go to the next one, refresh. So,
right, but and I guess what I'm saying is that's a mechanical solution, and I realize Rare Coordinator is as well. But I think I would be the nice thing about Rare Coordinator, and yeah, I know I can write this down on a piece of paper, was it kept track of when those rares died. So if you're trying to do the Jungle Stalker achievement, you're not just sitting in the area waiting for a rare to spawn going, okay, I think I'm good. I can sit here and that mob passed this way, and so I won't get aggro, but I can still see where that mob's supposed to spawn, as opposed to, okay, that thing was last killed half an hour ago. It's on a 45-minute timer. In about 10 minutes, I'll head over. You know, that sort of thing. That was the nice feature of Rare Coordinator that I miss, was it told you when those mobs were last killed.
I definitely agree with you on that, because I got to sit and camp the Fell Pup mob for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Wee.
Yeah, no, I know. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll do the dailies in Tanan, and if one of the rares happens to be up when I'm doing the dailies, then I'll kill it. But generally, I get the dailies done first, and then you're right. I'll go to, you know, the summoning stone for Hellfire Citadel and sit there and go, okay, Doom Roller, wait for a refresh. Okay, got Doom Roller, good. Then I go up to the next flight point, which takes you over to the Eriko area because the next one spawns right there. Okay, I got that one, good. Fly to Iron Front. Go up the path, wait for that. Okay, that one spawned. Okay, now work my way into through all the demons and everything and get against the back wall so that no one notices me and wait for vengeance. Okay, it's up, dead, good. Aviana's Feather, I'm out of there.
Yeah. John, in your experience in Tanan, have you even tried going for any of those? Like, do you even know what they are?
I know what they are. I know where they spawn, but I haven't worried about it. Like... so occasionally I will say, okay, well, I'm going to go do the daily that's kind of over by this, and maybe I'll keep an eye out for it. And, you know, I have NPC scan. I don't know if it's updated. I probably should update it. But I mean, it recognizes like the rares that spawn and stuff like that. So I just kind of figure it's one of those things that I'll get to it if I'm in the right place at the right time. Maybe at some point, if I feel compelled, I'll go and actually try to hunt it down. But I don't know, maybe Draenor, with its just overabundance of things to collect and fight and rares, maybe it's finally trained me into this place of just like, you know, I'm not going to worry about necessarily having to get everything, and maybe I'll just be okay with the stuff that I stumble upon. Because I haven't really missed it. You know, I had handy notes through leveling up in Draenor. Well, actually, about the time I hit max level is when I finally downloaded handy notes. And I really liked it, and it was a really helpful add-on, and I think it's great. But it doesn't work in Tanan, or at least I haven't updated it since it became usable with Tanan. I don't know. But it, like, I don't get any...
It's usable.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, then...
you need to go update it. The big thing with the Hellbore rares, or that whatever it's called, Hellsbane, sorry, rares. There are three mounts they drop. So generally, you know, I run we call it the Circuit of Disappointment. I'll fight all 4 of them to get a chance at the mounts. Now I've gotten 2 of the 3 mounts off them so far, so I'm happy. And they're also the ones that drop the medallions for the rep. So generally, that's in my rotation of I'm in Tanan, I'm going to do the dailies, then I'm going to do those for the chance at the mount and the medallion drop.
Yeah, and I've killed about 2 of those a day while I was doing all my stuff. I haven't seen a single mount or a medallion, so boo. I don't know.
I think for me, one of the interesting things about this expansion, and honestly, I'm happy for this. Like, I'm sure there will be people who are like, well, that's not how I play, and that's fine. But, like, I've gotten to a place in WoW where I have stopped feeling the need to get everything. So, like, I did see the 3 mounts that drop. I don't want any of them. And so I do want the medallion because it feels like a shortcut to getting the rep where I want it without having to do the dailies constantly. So that would be nice. But I got one of the medallions from a garrison mission, and that was a cool thing to get, and I used it, and I was like, yeah, that was lucky. So I already feel like I've got a nice little bonus, and I don't necessarily feel like I need more. So I see it as just one of those things where if I'm in the right place at the right time and I end up getting them and I end up getting a mount from it, that's cool. I mean, I have a big collection of mounts, but none of those mounts were ones where I was like, I need that mount. Like that's going to be a mount I use. It's just probably not. It's probably just going to be another one in the list.
Yeah, one of them was a wolf mount, and so I kind of have to get that for Tet. He's generally got all the wolf mounts that you can get either through buying them drops that are not, do all the achievements in a raid and get that. He's got all the wolf mounts. That's the only thing that character rides. So it's a little bit of character RP. So when I saw it was a wolf mount that dropped, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Here's my goal.
That's probably the one I would want. I mean, really, the wolf mount that I want from this expansion is the armored version of the one we've been farming on raid nights that you get from doing garrison invasions, but nobody really seems to do garrison invasions anymore. So I've also kind of made peace with the fact that I'm probably not going to ever get one of those. I mean, even still, I have a rare mount that I got from the card game from back in the day, and it kind of tends to be my go-to mount, and it's sort of the only thing I ever use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we did a sweep for Pound Fist the other day just to check and see if that was up, because he drops a rare and he wasn't up. So, but it was just, like you said, John, I think you're actually playing the expansion the way they designed the expansion. Is to play it casually and do it at it. I generally, being a little bit more, I see an achievement, I want to get that, okay, what do I need to do it? I don't obsessively work towards it, but it's a steady, progressive, I'm marching towards this goal because this is what I want to accomplish in game.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I'm playing now these days too. I mean, I got the the Pathfinder achievement, and I have barely been in WoW this week because it's like, okay, well, I'm just kind of taking some time doing my own thing or whatever, playing little heroes here and there. I opened up Batman Arkham Origins, which I barely played, and just little things like that, because I've spent a ton of time just kind of grinding, and I know that once I get flying back in, I'm going to be exploring a whole lot. I'm going to go back into my, my mount runs that I was doing, like, trying to get that Blazing Drake and everything like that, just because it's one of those times where, it's just a lull. You need a little break, and it happens, and it's a casual play for some of us. And, I'm still in raiding every week and enjoying the heck out of that. And it's because of that, because I don't think I've really pushed so hard to get the second legendary ring on my healer, because I know that it's going to be a lot of grinding. I'm going to have to do Heimal every week until that's done, and then I'm going to have to do BRF every week until that's done. And it's just one of those things where I really feel that this is your main, stick with it for the whole expansion, and that's kind of where I am.
It's something that we talked about near the beginning of the show, actually prior to the show going on air, and I don't think this is necessarily like a bad thing. Like, this has always been kind of the structure of WoW. Like, they've tweaked the formula here and there. Things have definitely changed. I'm not going to say the game we're playing now is the same game we were playing years ago, but the formula of an MMO is very much the same thing, and it very much doesn't change. And kind of if you think of it as a cake, like, cake is going to be cake. It comes in all sorts of flavors, but you kind of know what you're going to get with it, and you kind of know whether or not it's a type of cake that you want to interact with or not. So really the only thing that's ever changing is just the frosting and the flavor of it, right? And I think with Warlords, for me, and in my opinion, use the very important keywords there, it's just not a flavor that is calling to me as consistently as the others. Mists of Pandaria, I wanted to live in that world. That was a place I would move to in a heartbeat. Same thing with Wrath of the Lich King. Maybe not live there because it seems kind of undead and bad.
Well, you have Grizzly Hills.
There is Grizzly Hills and Howling Fjord. One of the nicer spots in Howling Fjord. But I mean, like, the point is, like, I really felt like I had a place in that world and a place that I wanted to be. I don't necessarily feel that with this expansion. Again, that's just kind of my takeaway from it. It's going to gel with other people in different ways. but the core mechanics that make it up haven't changed. This isn't like Blizzard all of a sudden forgot how to make a game. It's just a case of you either like what they're giving you or they don't.
So what you're saying is that right now, for me, Warlords of Draenor is yellow cake with chocolate frosting. I love yellow cake, but I'm not a fan of chocolate frosting.
Yellow cake with chocolate frosting's good, so let me tell you how wrong you are, and you must hate cake.
That's my opinion of this cake. Remember,
no, Ben hates cake. I just heard it. I just heard how Ben hates cake. You should never. You should stop eating cake because you hate cake forever.
Yeah, I'm not a big
frosting
fan.
Not cake.
Nah, he hates the whole thing.
Okay, John. Let me throw this curveball at you. Since you've come back and are playing Star Wars, that game doesn't have add-ons. It does finally allow you to move the user interface around to modify stuff. But the big thing with add-ons, at least for me from WoW, was it added information in a way I wanted to see it, or exposed information to me in a way I found useful. The big pull for me for Star Wars is their storytelling. You know, if I could combine their single-player storytelling with WoW's flexibility for add-ons and things like that, I think you'd have a really good version of an MMO that would allow me to change the interface with add-ons the way I want to, and still get a ton of story content that I'm missing from WoW. Because honestly, not to harp on something you guys have been harping on the whole time, but the story for this content just isn't there.
Okay, well, what if there was an add-on that added more story?
It just tells you a story while you're playing.
It's an audio
You log
book.
in, it's just like, call me Ishmael, and then you spend the game looking for a white whale.
I know where one
Well, that
spawns.
was actually, and that was one of the reasons I was using handy notes to go find these little treasures. Was I was hoping that more of them had a story. So there's a couple. If you go into the docks, the iron docks, and you go into one of the towers, it's not the one with the first ones by the flight master, but it's the one further on. You go in there and you hang a left. Right there is a dead wolf and an orc hanging upside down with an axe on his hand. And you get the axe from him. It's one of the treasures. But the axe is named after the wolf, who you learn from the name of the axe basically would not leave its master's side while it was being tortured, and both died there. So it's a sad story, but there's a whole lot of, just that little vignette of a story is wrapped up in that one treasure, and I was hoping that there was more of that in Tanan. There's another one where you go fight one of the Arakoa rares, that there's a scroll on the ground, and there's a couple pages of actual flavor text that you read through about the boss or about the mini boss you're about to take on. And that's what I was hoping I'd see more of, but that's very few and far between in the jungle.
Well, I guess I didn't really talk about this on the show. So as you all know, I've been playing a little bit of SWTOR.
What?
I finished the class story for my Sith Warrior. I hit the end mark. And I would have said that at that moment, like, I hit that point in the story, my interest level was a 10. Like, I was so into it. I was so excited. Yep. And then, like, it moves immediately into just like, all right, now there's something else you got to do. And it just loses all of its personality, and it loses all of the character. And my character goes from feeling like this incredible, amazing, interesting character in the universe to all of a sudden like, well, now you're just another flunky that's got to go check out this thing on this planet to keep the story going, I guess. And it just becomes
disappointing.
It becomes the generic story that everybody funnels down at that point, and my interest went from 10 to 0. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go make a bunch of other characters and experience their story. So as much as I've been enjoying SWTOR recently, I understand what I'm enjoying about that game, and it is very much a single-player experience getting a story told to me, and in no way, shape, or form is it any of the MMO portion of that game. Like, if there was nobody else on that game when I logged in, it wouldn't change one thing about it at the auction house, because it's funded the adventures of many of my characters. But that's it. Like, it might as well be a single player game for what I play it for. So, you know, WoW is kind of the other way for me. Like, I don't love the story this time around. I've loved it before for sure, but the gameplay and the social interaction and the MMO parts of it are really good.
Yeah, that's why I want to combine the two. I want the storytelling from the single player, and that, honestly, this is what disappointed me so much about this expansion. If we go back to when the expansion launched, when you get to the end of Frostfire, and there are 3 choices of followers you can make: Great Mother Gaia, and the other 2. I remember that Great Mother Gaia, and I was so hoping
Lokra.
Lokra. Yeah, I was hoping
she's the right choice.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm going to keep cutting you off till you acknowledge Lokra as the right choice.
Lokra was the right choice.
That's what I chose.
There you go.
So I was hoping at that point, I'm like, oh my god, they stole this from Star Wars. This is going to be great, because you're going to get this you're going to make this choice, and then you'll have some interaction and a storyline with this. No, they're just a follower, and they show up in your garrison, you assign them to menial tasks, and there's no story from that point on. That killed it for me right there. Had they actually had and continued each follower's storyline, even if it wasn't a garrison mission, and this is where I think they missed out with the whole garrison thing, even if it wasn't just a garrison mission, but like you got every week, maybe one of your followers would come up and continue their storyline a little bit more, or you found out more about things, it would have sucked me into the expansion more. But just the fact that it was like, oh good, you went and collected these 5 stones that were on fire for this guy, and he made you a shield, and now he wants to go work for you. Oh, put him to work in your garrison. So it just lost it.
Mass Effect 2 loyalty missions with your followers. John, would you do that?
Yeah, I think from the get-go they should have done something like that. Like, how many people go and get, and I don't know how to pronounce his name because it's weird, but they get, what's his name, the guy where you go recover his sword and his banner and get his honor back and all
Latracer?
that. And how many people, you know, joked about the fact that, we freed him and then I sent him right to the mines to work. You know, everybody knew that was kind of a dick thing to do because they knew the story of this follower. Like, here's this guy who's had a really tough life and, like, did some things, and you helped him, but he ultimately still got shunned and his life sucked. And then you got back to the garrison and you said, well, you're a miner, so get in the mines. Like, off you go. Because you had a story for him. The reason Ben and I like Lokra is because her part of the story where you're introduced to her is cool.
Very.
Like, that's why I picked her. Also, it sounds like
I agree.
Orcs occasionally say her name, and that's cool too. But the big thing to me with all of that is, like, what I take away from that is that we've actually, even in these little bits and pieces, we've picked up these stories and they've mattered to us. So if Blizzard had maybe lowered the amount of followers, made it less this thing that you feel like you have to collect them all on, and instead made each one a little bit more engaging and interesting and have, you know, maybe continuing stories to go through, like, that might be cool. We've talked about this feeling of, I'm sick of being the commander. I want to be an adventurer again.
Or the friend.
You might not... I can't talk. You might not mind being the commander as much if you feel invested in the people that you're sending out.
Exactly.
You know,
they're just not nameless peons. They're actually... They have a thing. I felt bad for Lentresser. I went and put the inn so I could get somebody else that had mining, put them in the mine, got him out of the mine, started leveling him up, and there was this one mission, and I don't even remember the specifics behind it, where you ended up getting a weapon that you could give to a follower?
It's in the Garrison quest chain, and it's made out like it's supposed to be for him.
Right, and I gave him that weapon. He hadn't leveled up past where that weapon, because I think it made him like it made him like a 645 on his weapon side, and I hadn't leveled him up past that yet. So I gave him that weapon. I put the story in my head, but honestly, there should have been more to it. There should have been more compelling reason. Like when you gave him the blade, instead of like, oh great, this number went from this to 645. There should have been something. There should have been a reaction from the follower you gave that blade to, regardless of who it was. It should have meant something other than just, oh, it's a token to raise their stat.
Yeah, I was the same way. I actually looked up to see if it did anything, because I was like, well, clearly I'm supposed to give it to him. Like, he's the one that this should be for. I wonder if it does anything. I didn't think he necessarily needed it for me. So there was a part of me that wanted to give it to someone else if it was just a stat stick, but it felt like it needed to go to him. So I looked it up, and everybody said, nope, doesn't